The music industry makeover.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Music Industry Makeover. We are in the building on a beautiful Thursday night. And hey, what's up, D-Ray, the producer in the house?
What's good? What's good?
Yeah.
What's good, people?
Yes, we had the lovely Simone Henry's back in the house. What's up, Simone?
Hey everybody, been missing y'all. I'm glad to be back.
Hey,
Welcome back.
glad to have you back. Welcome back. Yes, Miss S.J. Music. Yes, I tell you. Hey, so you all go ahead on and spread the word out there. Let folks know we are in the building. Make sure you go and share this with all your fellows, friends out there, because we have a legend that's going to talk to you tonight. And so, yes, you want to be in the building. But also, hey, don't forget, check us out on Roku and Amazon. Okay, go and check us out. Hey, go get the app, go join or download. Hey, there's the direction, Roku and Amazon Music Industry Makeover. Okay, that is us. So yes, we thank God for everyone that's tuned in over in England, Japan, Venezuela, and as well as even Virginia. Okay, I think it's Richland, Virginia. So we're getting a lot of love out there. So thank you so much. Go visit the musicindustrymakeover.com. All right, that's our website. And yes, see what it is that we have to offer. We are a media company, and so we're doing some great things. Don't forget to join In the Box with Rico Gibson tomorrow night. All right, it's going to be an awesome time. You don't want to miss it. As well as also join In the Box on Roku and Amazon as well too. Go and download the app, and you can see all the great things that are going on there too. And also Just Life. All right, his program on Sundays, Just Life, and Wednesdays, along with Pastor Ricky. So again, thank God for what they're doing. All right, so again, it's the Music Industry Makeover. Spread the word for sure. And Simone, man, you know, we see you got that red lipstick on there, so like you're all, dolled up or so. What's going on?
Yes, Simone up here glammed up, man. She leveling up on people.
Uh-huh. Man.
I realized today that we are in the month of September, and I didn't want to let the month of September go by without acknowledging the fact that September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And the red lipstick it goes along with a hashtag, Bold Lips for Sickle Cell, just to and I guess it's a month for us to acknowledge it, to support the charities that are pushing for research and more medications and
events,
and just help for people with sickle cell, adults and children. And and it's a time to tell our stories. So that's what I will be doing tomorrow. So I put the red lipstick on. I normally get a little bit glammed up for Music Industry Makeover, but today is special, being September.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to take some pictures. So.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Okay,
all right now.
Yes. Well, hey, we about to get right into it. We don't want to hold y'all any further, but first, we definitely got to bring you, what's going on in the news out there. So, yes, it's the D-Ray with the industry news. It's going to bring it to you.
All right, yeah. Let's set it off a little bit here. So the digitalmusicnews.com had an article saying that they have a theory on why streaming pays so little. And you can go to the digitalmusicnews.com site, and they have this article where a former Spotify executive squarely blames low streaming royalties on record labels, the major record labels, for taking most of the money from streaming. And now this executive said imbalanced artist contracts and huge upfront payments end up dramatically reducing the amount that musicians earn. So in a nutshell, what that means is that you have the big three record companies that have a huge amount of music, they're pretty much all of the music that you hear on commercial radio. Wow. And they have decided that, hey, Spotify, if you want to have our artists on your platform, you pay us what we want. And then independent musicians can split whatever's left. And so that's kind of a theory that I had before, This
Right.
article just kind of confirmed it. So when you're making your plans to release and you're making your plans and you want to, you need to really reevaluate what streaming actually means and how that's
Right.
going to play into your budgeting and into your bottom line, because the playing field is not even.
Right.
Exactly.
So give y'all a couple of minutes to respond. Yeah.
I've actually heard that before, and they talked about how Spotify pays based on their market share. So if their market share goes down, like, Apple Music launches some big fancy thing and then their market share goes up, then Spotify will end up paying less.
Mm.
And then I've also heard too that if independent artists don't claim their money, then
Right.
the money, the time for you to collect runs out, and then that money gets divvied up to
Wow.
the big name artists. So
Wow.
I mean, the big name artists, they have money and they have power. So and they flex their muscles, and we see them flexing that muscle all over the music industry.
Man.
So it's not inconceivable.
And to add on to that, they have teams. Those record companies have teams of people that their only job is to find every nickel that is owed to that company.
Right.
So if it means that they don't leave anything on the table.
Mm-mm.
And so if you want to get some insight on that, you can go back and look. I think a week or so ago we interviewed Omega Sparks.
Yeah.
And he talked about how artists. Yeah, hey, Miss Mary.
Yeah, she happy on here.
Yeah, Omega Sparks talked about how artists need to educate themselves and not leave money on the table.
Correct.
So if you want to get some insight on that, go back and check that show out.
Definitely, man. Again, hey, know your worth, okay, and get that money. It belongs to you anyways.
Absolutely. Yes. So also another one of my favorite websites is Music Think Tank, and they have a lot of articles and blogs. And one of the articles that I think pertains to us and what we do says 9 music marketing strategies that no longer work in 2020. So here are 9 strategies that I'm pretty sure some independent artists are still doing that no longer work. Number 1, marketing without a plan. 2020 has taught us you're going to have to plan. You're going to have a plan.
There you go.
And if you don't have a plan, you hire somebody to make a plan for you, because you're just going to be wasting your money. Number 2, shouting into the void, meaning you don't know where your audience is. You just kind of shouting out into the void, hoping that somebody's going to hear you. That's not working. Come vote for. You see these Facebook posts that say, "Come vote for our song, come to our show, buy our music, please." That's 2020 has taught us that's not going to work.
Come on. Should we check with Spotify? Yeah.
Brother, you should check Spotify every week.
Even more. Yeah.
And if you got a hot song that that's taking off, you need to check every day until the heat dies down. If you want to get some further information on that, inbox us, because you don't let Spotify slide, and don't let Apple Music slide either.
Right.
Leave that.
Right.
Yeah, never leave any money on the table. Number 3, all sizzle and no steak. So gone are the days when it was all about marketing and not about the product. You cannot, and I stress this, I can't stress this enough, especially for Christian hip hop and Christian and gospel artists. You cannot just have great marketing and a bad product. It's still not going to work.
Right.
You're gonna have all of this money, design a marketing plan, and when it doesn't connect with the consumers, who are you gonna blame?
Yeah.
You're gonna blame the marketer, or is the responsibility solely on you for having a bad product?
Come on.
So
come on now.
Number 4, spamming and blasting. This is one of my pet peeves. You get these inboxes from people that you never hear from.
Hey, Kenny.
unless they want you to buy something or stream something or listen to something. You don't never get a hey, how you doing? How your kids? How you feeling?
Right.
What you do today? You know,
Who are you? Why are you inboxing me?
Right.
Why should I even pay attention to your song, your video, your whatever it is that you're trying to get me to pay attention to?
Correct.
Right.
I've been getting on people for that.
Yeah, me too. And you get blindly added to groups like, how did who put me in this group? I don't know any of y'all. So yeah,
Man.
2020 has shown us that is not working. The next thing they say, black hat SEO. What is SEO? Search engine optimization. Yeah. And so content spinning used to be a popular tactic for increasing a site search. But people now are getting smarter. And so you got to do different things with your website. You can't just get out there and create a certain algorithms just to get traffic to your website. Because people, especially now that people are, at home a lot more, we're online a lot more, we're researching a lot more. So listen to my,
we do that a lot. Yeah.
Come on, Vince, don't get banned. Don't get on the MIM blacklist. But there is no blacklist. But yeah, doing things like that on your website, the tricks are not working.
Yeah.
The next thing, not personalizing your communication. And this is very, very key, because one of the things we stress at MIM is that you develop relationships with your audience. If you don't have any personalized communication, if you blindly sending stuff to people and they don't know who you are, they're going to do just like Simone and I say. Who are you? Why are you sending me this? I'm not going to even hit play.
And you know what? What we do is actually nice, because there are some people, they'll get that stuff and they're like, I don't know who this is, and they'll just delete it. They don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You haven't introduced yourself. You have no relationship with them.
Right. And
Yeah.
this goes to my next thing, marketing without an online presence. Marketing, social media management, that stuff takes time.
It does.
There are no shortcuts. There is no magic list that you can buy. There is no amount of money that you can pay to just, now I got 10,000, 5,000 followers on Facebook. No, you have to do it organically, and it takes time. And you can't do that without building relationships. And if you're not good at that, you got to get a team of people that are good at that, because, hey, 2020 has taught us a lot of what's not working, and that stuff's not working.
So not.
Another thing about that too is that, some people, you can build an audience much more quickly than the organic way by paying for advertising. Mm-hmm. So you go out there and you pay for advertising, you can get a ton of followers, or a ton of people even looking at you. Maybe not followers, but people looking at you. But I recommend that artists not go that route until they actually develop the habit of posting every day and actually engaging their audience and building relationships. Because if you don't do that first, then and go the route of advertising and, reach out to 10, 20, 40, 50,000 people, and you're getting all these different people coming to your platforms, but you don't have a habit of posting, you don't have anything there for them to consume. There's nothing interesting going on with what, with your platform, your profile.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're sending, that's a first impression. So you're sending all these people to your profile, and their first impression is, ain't nothing going on here.
Right. And then, I want to add to that real quick for his advertisement. You can get with a DJ like myself, that's a radio show that, again, matter of fact, one station I have 362,000 listeners during the hour that I am on. So again, you get with the DJ who has a platform and sponsor their show, and the DJ is going to shout you out, even you do an interview, push your music, even might even do a commercial for you. But again, develop relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
And I want to remember what Ron just said. Not the next thing I'm gonna say, but the following thing. This next thing, it says, reading outdated posts about music marketing is now out in 2020. You see all of this advice from people who aren't musically inclined, don't know good songs, don't know marketing, but what they'll do is they'll get you to their site to sell you something that you think is a quick fix. I tend to think, I don't know about y'all, but my granddaddy used to make me watch, Cowboys back in the day when we didn't have but one TV and it was 3 stations. And there was always that guy that was selling the elixir. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
it cures everything. One sip will cure cancer and gout, and it'll stop your whatever from growing. There is no such thing as a magic elixir in music marketing. There is no such thing. Stop falling for this stuff, because all you're doing is wasting money and getting frustrated. So that doesn't work. Back to what Ron was just saying. This is kind of the final thing. Artists have to stop focusing on tactics. They have to start focusing on tactics rather than just strategy. Now, what does that mean? I mean, focusing on tactics rather than strategy. So what does that mean? It means that what can you get for $5? A 4 for $4 with change.
That's it. That's a good one.
Can you get that for $5?
Chick-fil-A? No.
Not even Chick-fil-A, man.
No, they might let you in to smell them cooking that Chick-fil-A sandwich for that. No, but what does that mean? Focusing on tactics rather than strategy. Give an example. You have a Christian rock band that says, "Hey, we're gonna send our music to 300 radio stations," and then Ron gets that in the mail from this Christian rock station. They didn't bother to check to see what the format was of the show. They didn't bother to see, do you have any people over there that actually listen? You're sending wrong format music to wrong stations, and you wonder why you're not getting anywhere. You got to have a strategy. I would rather send my releases to 20 radio stations that I know that I can build a relationship with, rather than pay somebody to send them to 300 and it's just a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Come on, man, you preaching right there. You preaching right there.
Yeah. So those are some things that's not working anymore. And real quick, one of the things real quick, and before we run out of time, I saw an article that Sony Music reached a $12.7 million settlement with in artist royalties with the estate of Rick Nelson. And for those young people who don't know who Rick Nelson is, he played on a show back in my mama's day, back in the 50s, called Ozzie and Harriet. He was the son, Ricky Nelson. And he came out with a couple of, hit rock songs. And he tragically passed away in a plane accident in the 1980s. But his estate has been taken care of ever since, because he wrote the songs that he owned. Ownership is so important.
Absolutely.
Publishing is your legacy. Publishing, you got to start. I wish Rico was here because he could talk about it, but publishing is almost like having a whole life policy that you can borrow money on from time to time. That's your legacy. That's what you can leave behind. This man has been feeding his family from the grave from the past 30 years.
Wow.
Think about that for just a second.
Wow.
If you don't give away your publishing and your legacy, so any deal that you're going to enter into that they're talking about, we're going to get 50% of your publishing. Anytime somebody's talking about taking your publishing away, you need to really, really reconsider that deal. Really.
Very, very, very much so. Awesome. Wow.
To answer that question, Vince, yes, it is very important because to study demographics, and not just demographics, is you really have to find somebody that knows analytics and demographics. You really have to know before you launch out is if we're going to create a social media blast in Seattle. Is there a market there for me in Seattle first? Is there somebody that I like, that I really, really, really like? Are they doing what I want to do in Seattle? And if you can see that and you can see there's an audience, then you can start there. But Yeah, you got to study that kind of stuff, and you got to do all of that stuff before you press record, and definitely before you hit submit to distribution. And that's all I got for the news this time.
Thank you so much, Danny. Great, powerful stuff right there. Hey, again, this is what we do. All right, MIM for sure. Okay, so now we got to bring on our special guest. All right, man. What can I say? Dr. Marlon Mac Nichols, he's an accomplished executive with outstanding credentials and proven global track record of success. He has he's been in various networks and various record labels. I'm talking about major record labels from Warner Brothers, Elektra, Atlantic Records, MCA. And guess what? He's helped break some of the main artists that you might know on there. I'm going to name some: Ray Charles, Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway, Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, Brooke Benson. Matter of fact, I'll even go for not just soul music, but also rock music. Led Zeppelin. Okay, Led Zeppelin. The Bee Gees. He helped stop them in their early careers. Yes, and so we are, we are so blessed to have a Jim that's been in the music industry for over 55 years. 55 years, yes, and so he is the CEO of Angel Dove Music Entertainment Media Group. Okay, so without further ado, I met him through my good friend Kenny Smith, who's watching, and I said, yes, we have to have him on because he's been watching our show, and I had no idea who he was. So without further ado, let's welcome a legend in the music industry, Dr. Marlon Mac Nichols. How you doing, sir?
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Great.
Oh, wow. Doing great.
Awesome. Hey, man, we are so blessed to have you on. And man, we're just looking forward to talking with you about the music industry and all our fans out here that are watching too. Hey, we want you to be a part of this as well too. All right. If you're an artist, you need to be tuned in and tell some other artists they need to tune in right now for the music industry makeover. Oh, yes. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you so much and for inviting me on your program. Like you said, I have been watching you, and I was really excited. One night I was tuning in and seeing Kenny Smith.
Yes,
and that was a joy because Kenny, we go back together. Kenny was on my label, New Dawn Gospel Records, back in the 80s.
Wow.
And Kenny kind of helped us launch into contemporary gospel music.
What, man?
Yeah.
Kenny is a legend. I love his music. His music is still hot to this day. And matter of fact, Kenny, if you even want to come on, just let me know. He'll definitely want to bring you on. But yes, oh wow. Well, you know what? We want to go ahead on it and start off for us with the music industry today. So compared to when you first started, do you see much of a difference within marketing and promotions?
Oh yes, a tremendous difference, and it was great that some of the things that Ray hit on in regards to what's working today and what doesn't work today, and because back in the day, it was marketing and promotion was altogether different. Of course, we wasn't have all the social media tools to work with, and it was more of a relationship building, and it was easier building relationships back in those days, and so we relied heavily on that. And today's it's a lot of marketing, social media marketing, and if you it's very difficult to navigate for independent or folks just starting out, and they need to align themselves with folks that understand the industry today, how to navigate around the social media fear in the industry. It's a major difference.
Awesome. Hey, real quick, I forgot to mention also he's helped gospel great Dorothy Norwood in her career. All right, so all you Dorothy Norwood fans, hey, this gentleman right here is responsible for that. So again, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, Dr. Mac Nichols, once again, it is an honor to be able to talk to you. The plaques on your wall speak for themselves, sir.
Yeah, look at that.
And I'm just honored, because normally someone of your stature, we got to break the bank to get them on here. So we really are thankful for your time.
Yes, we are.
So
can I say something right quick?
Yes, sir.
One of the reasons why I'm still in the industry this long, and I never thought that I was greater than the artist or better than the record.
Wow.
Amen.
So that keeps you humble.
Humble.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. And so I was doing some research when I knew you was coming on last week, and so I did a deep dive into your discography, and I noticed that one of the first records that I ran across was "Give Me a Little Sign" from Timmy Willis, that was in 1972.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, that was the last time Ronnie Ron's football team won the Super Bowl.
Miami Dolphins, baby. That's when I was born.
My question, though, is regarding production.
Mm-hmm.
The role of a producer, how would you say has changed or evolved from when you were making records then to now? I mean, of course, the technology has changed, but do you still use the same tactics when you're identifying what works with a song and what doesn't with a song?
It's changed tremendously. It seemed as though back in the early days, we put more effort in working with the artists, not going into the studio, and the artists learn the lead and put it out down that same night. And what we did back then is that, and what I still do now, we let the artists live with the record, live with the song, and then bring them back. And so that same night that we put down their lead vocals, don't be usually not the final record. And so the techniques, the basic techniques are the same. It's just that it's mostly the technology side that's so much different, in how to record and differently than what we did back in the day.
Okay, awesome. Oh, and Gabe, we're talking with the legendary Dr. Marlon Mac Nichols. If you have a question out there that you would like to ask him, feel free to jump in on the dialogue. Simone, was there something that you had wanted to ask him?
I do have one question. I don't know a whole lot about producing, but I want to know, is there a difference in how you, or I guess in how you take ownership of a song that you are working on between then and now?
Okay. We say ownership. Are you referring to owning the master, the publishing side, and that side of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It always been. You could. One of the and I'm kind of backtracking. See, back in the days, and it's still today, the artists don't really know the value of ownership. And nowadays they hear about it, but back in the, I always owned my masters. I never left no money on the table with record companies, and being in the system and working for the majors, I've seen the value of ownership and the value of master owning and publishing and publishing ownership. And that's one of the biggest reasons why you can see Warner, for instance, making $22 million a day from streaming. But so they're going back to the catalogs that they then owned for 50 or 60 years. In that catalog, all of the records aren't hits in that catalog, but their overall ownership of that whole catalog log is nickels, dollars, and pennies are all coming in together because of ownership. Yeah, of ownership. And and then also, when you're dealing with ownership with artists, it's always the power of your negotiation. And when you're new in the industry, your negotiation power is not good at all. You haven't got no track record, and so most of the time when they put those deals in front of you, 50-50 or 60-40, without no experience, you don't know how to navigate around that because the artists are just basically happy to get a deal, and then they can't afford to have the music attorney to look out for them and explain to them about the ownership, the value of ownership, and the value of ownership of masters and publishing. And it's in the whole. It's all how you negotiate the deal. Because see, some artists or on the creative side in our business is that they can own 100% of their publishing or whatever, but they don't know the publishing business. And so 100% of everything sometimes doesn't work in your favor. But then if you know how to negotiate, how to revert back to you, after a certain period. So you do a deal. If you give a 50% at first, but if it's reverted back to you at some point after recoupment or whatever, you'll still get it back. But most artists or producers don't know how to operate in that atmosphere of how to doing those things. But ownership is very important. But sometimes you have to know how to negotiate the deal that gives up some at the beginning. Never have to give it up all, but always have a revert calls back into your agreement. That's something.
Okay, Dr. Nichols, we got a question here from Rico. So he says, how hard was it for an artist or producer to purchase the tape machines to record their music at home? Is that the reason the major labels made so much money off artists back then by being in control of making their records for them?
Okay. Sort of, but not entirely, because basically, by them owning the recording studios and everything, it was a chargeback of to the artists, for the recording time and all the, and that kind of stuff. But then, see, the record business at the beginning was never designed for the artists to make money off the records. The record business was designed for the artists to make money off. And so so the initial beginning of it was for the record label, that system, to make the money for off the record. So when you say them owning the equipment, well, you didn't have no other place to record but in their studios.
Right.
So unlike today, where there's so many home studios, a few years ago in Nashville, Music Row, the studios went bankrupt. I mean, studios went out of business because everybody can record at home. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, man. Again, we're talking to Dr. Marlon Mac Nichols, who's had 55 years in the industry. So, again, if you got any questions or so, feel free to go ahead on. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on what Dr. McNichols said, because, the way the record industry changed, and when you went from analog to digital, and this was in the late 80s, early 90s, the record industry tried to sue manufacturers to stop them from creating the DAT tapes, the digital audio tapes.
Yeah.
Because, when you have vinyl transfers, you can lose some of the fidelity of the music. And so when you have these tapes, you had to have these tapes, and you had to have them on the right machine. But if you're doing a digital to digital transfer, you're not losing any of the fidelity. It's basically ones and zeros. And so there was actually they actually put a law in place because the record companies was trying to stop that in 1992 with the Audio Home Recording Act. So it's always seems like the record industry that can see a problem coming, but they seem powerless to stop it.
Wow.
Especially when it comes to technology.
See, that's one thing. What happened when technology jumped ahead of our industry, and when free downloads and all of that started happening, the record industry in a whole wasn't ready for that. So it wasn't no copyright laws. It wasn't any laws, and the record companies was losing money, and because technology was so far out ahead. Now the record industry is kind of catching up with the technology side, in trying to not even the playing field, but tilt the playing field with the streaming.
In their favor. Yeah.
Wow. Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. I want to say shout out to Maria Watkins for tuning in. She says back to what we're talking about the masters. She says that you can actually negotiate your own masters, being that a lot of indies are not signed to record labels. They have a better chance to own by simply asking for it and signing the agreement for it. It's tough with a major label deal, but not within the indie environment. So yes, that's so true. And I want to welcome on with us Apostle Dr. Kenny Smith, one of Dr. Marlon Nichols' protege here. So how you doing, sir? Hey, you on mute. Hey, your mic is off. Yeah, we can't hear you. Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
So that's my man right there. That's my mentor right there. That cat. Because of him, man, I'm where I'm at today. You heard?
Yeah, they y'all done messed around and let another Smith on this podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no,
Kenny Smith. Oh, Smiths are dominating. We taking over.
That's right. That's right.
No.
Man.
The Smith boys is taking over.
You know it. You know it. Hey,
Good to
Maria,
see
how you
Marlon.
doing?
Good to see you.
Good, wonderful. Good to see you also, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Kenny, Dr. Nichols had mentioned you, so that guess what, you were what the first one for us to introduce them into the urban gospel scene.
Yeah.
Man, with your
Yeah,
style, what was it like back then?
Oh, you know what? It was educating. Marlon taught me a lot. He taught me a lot first about the business side. It's easy to become an artist. Anybody you can almost put up anybody to sing, but if you really don't know the business, like Dr. D. Ray was saying earlier, I call him doctor, man. He's a doctor to me because he's spitting information.
Yes,
I mean, if you don't know the business that you're trying to jump off into, then and you don't take the time to learn it, then basically you subjected to whatever. And it's no one's fault but your own that you don't investigate. But Marlon took me through it. He taught me the business side first. We can make records all day, man. But if you don't know the business side of it, making records don't mean nothing because ain't nobody gonna hear it. That part right there.
And come on now, and so that goes into the marketing. There was a question a while back: is a hit record is it made in the studio or is it marketed?
Me personally, as an artist and then as a producer, I believe the hit record starts from the individual first. The individual got to know it's. Well, I take that back because a lot of people think they stuff is hits, ain't a hit.
In the key of off,
But I can pretty much determine a hit if it makes me feel the same way every time I hear it. I'm like, that's fire right there, and it makes everybody feel the same way. But if you don't have proper marketing to market that hit won't get heard.
That's right.
Wow.
It won't be a hit to one person.
Right. I feel like what are the basic ingredients of a cake? Eggs, the mix, some kind of liquid or whatever, and all of it connected. You take away one of those ingredients, you no longer have a cake. You may have bread.
Exactly.
Or you may have a mess. And so all of it's connected.
Exactly.
It takes a team, but you gotta have the right ingredients, the right team. You can have a bunch of people on your squad, but if nobody know what they're doing, You just got a bunch of people on your squad, just everybody bumping into each other.
That's what's up. What you say, Dr. Nichols, to that?
But King's absolutely right, because a lot of the time, some of the best hit records never make it past the studio.
Wow.
And what I mean by that is that you record a great record, and if you haven't got any marketing and promotion, and you haven't got a team, that great record is just a great record. From all of us people on the creative side, when we come out the studio, especially us with experience, we believe all of our records got a chance of possibly being a hit. Mm-hmm. But still, if we don't have a team together, a marketing team, a great promotion team, a team that understands social media, at least to get that record in the face of the record. Excuse me, if it's going radio, to the radio side of it, because in today's market, in dealing with radio now is not all about how great the record is to radio, because a radio is not trying to break. They're not in the business now to break records anymore. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's the advantage that we had. We had radio and DJs that wanted to be the first ones to play the record, wanted to break the record, and so that kind of made it easier, when you had a great record. Mm-hmm. So in the days place in the record business, when you're dealing with radio stations that's dealing with, they put on whatever BDS tells them or whatever media base, and their stations are run by numbers.
Right.
And so when I say sometimes the greatest record never be heard, because if you don't have the marketing and promotion that can put you in place with the BDS reporter, media-based reporters to generate those what the radio stations are looking for, that great record is not going anywhere.
So, as a record executive, what was the most expensive thing that you all had putting out music? What was the most expensive part about it?
Well, most expensive part was the recording, the making of the record, because in most cases the record label owned the studio or whatever, and so we always paid union rates or top dollar, to record a record. But in LA, I own my own studio. I can't remember if Kenny cut Witness at my studio.
We did Witness up in there, man.
I always own my own stuff.
Yeah, we did Witness in there. A couple other things we did in there, and then when you open up that big room, man, it was live. You heard, and then but I think, man, one of the things, especially on marketing side, when you did that billboard, you were probably, if not the first, maybe one of the first on the gospel side that actually ever put up a billboard on gospel artists.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of the time, it was always secular artists that got the billboards down the street, and we were on Main Strip. We were on Crenshaw, Slauson, right there. I mean, like anybody could see it. Yeah. To me, that was massive, but I knew it was expensive.
I have two questions, Dr. McNichols. One's a heavyweight question, and one's a lightweight question. Which one you want first?
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's start with the lightweight question.
Okay.
Record companies now are not doing artist development anymore.
Right.
They're looking for finished products.
Yes, right.
And they don't want to take the time to develop an artist from a raw protege into a superstar.
Right.
What advice would you give to an independent artist who is in need of artist development, but they don't know exactly which way to go? What advice would you give them?
Well, what advice I would say is that what I would do is to start out. They're not going to start out with the independent, or start out with someone or find someone local, independent that knows the business. and knows, you know, and knows the importance of artist development, and kind of hone your skills on the local level, you know, and start and build, and build from there, and see, and I always go back to experience. You know, back in the day, we had independents like Charlie Atkins and all those great choreographers, and so they had people to go to that did artist development, and be even they were ready even before they went to the majors. If that that answer your question?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I'll give anybody else time to respond if they want.
I just wanted to chime in that, if as an artist, you're looking for artist development and you find somebody who does that, who will teach you, pay attention to what they say, do what they say, do. That person is your mentor, they're your coach. If you found somebody who this is what they do, then do what they tell you to do. I see so many artists who will pay for the coaching, the mentoring, the being, they found somebody who's willing to teach them, but then they don't do what they tell them to do. And then so they end up right back where they started. And,
Right.
And that's no good. So actually do the work. It's hard work. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to take notes, and then later on, I'm just going to go do my own thing and show up on stage looking like, I'm just the chick sitting in the first row, whatever,
Right.
Pay attention. Do what they tell you to do.
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, Kenny.
As an artist, and I mean this wholeheartedly, and especially why I got the captain on, definitely on deck. As an artist, I had to listen to what Marlon was saying because Marlon knew the industry. It's like having a basketball team with all the great talents and no coach. Nobody even knows how good the talent is if you don't have a good coach. So because of Marlon, I was able to accomplish a lot of the things I did because she said a key word. You have to listen. You got to put all your egos, all your little pride and all that stuff, that goes out the window, because don't nobody know you. And don't nobody know you can sell music if you don't have nobody in there to direct you and show you what to do. I don't care how good you think you are. If you ain't got nobody in there to instruct you, it's just a waste of time. So you be just like a neighborhood, you be neighborhood popular, but that's it. So my thing is you have to pay attention to what the instructor or whoever your mentor, because this man mentored me. My ups, my downs, my good, my bad, my indifferences. There have been times when I just didn't want to pay attention, and I can say that now, but I knew he had my best interest. He's always had my best interest at hand. And I can say that I've always said that. He's never steered me anything for just selfish gain. He always had my best interest. If that means he had to fall on the sword himself. That's real talk. You don't find too many people like that anymore. This man literally sacrificed some things just to make sure we got recognized or we got into the system or we were able to do what we do. Even now today is the ground roots of what I learned from Marlon. And I'm telling y'all that's real talk. Everything that I've learned, the foundation of what I have is because I had a solid foundation to build from. This man gave me a solid foundation to build off of. So, yeah, listening is very important.
Very, very important. And be willing to step out of your comfort zone.
That part right there.
Right. Apostle Smith, let me just tell you, anything Dr. McNichols says, I'm shutting up and listening. I don't care how many degrees I got. I'm gonna shut up and be quiet because I'm gonna learn something.
But
so go ahead.
I'm listening to you guys. You never know everything, and you said in the beginning of the show some things that you said. I said back in script. I said, "Oh, that's the way it goes." So you learn. You never get enough. So I really learned a lot from what you said at the beginning of the shows when your comment about after you read the news and how you address each area. I learned a whole bunch right there.
Well, thank you, sir. That's high
Amen.
praise. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Very much so. Mhm.
Oh
Let
man.
you see, I don't have my asthma spray nowhere around. All right. So let me get into this. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say this is the music industry makeover here. So hey, again, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to jump on and ask these great men right here. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the heavyweight question, but I'm gonna pose it very lightly.
Okay.
In the 70s, we know radio promotion was those were some very murky waters, some very shark infested waters.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever have to come up against payola? And if so, how did you navigate those waters with integrity? Because, to me, you seem like a person with a lot of integrity and a lot of honesty. How did you navigate those shark infested waters?
Okay. I was one thing. I was right in the middle with it. I was one of the national promotion directors, and I came out of secular music in the gospel music. So anything from the secular side that we, far as dealing with, taking care of DJs or whatever, that's what we did. That was the nature of the business back there, and that's how the record industry, operated on that side. If you say, is it fair? Well, it's. Let me say it this way: they changed the business from then to now. The same thing was happening back then. They do it now under the banner of buying advertising. And
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. And so what happens is that back in the day when I was national for a major label, I mean, I leave the office, and when I got back at the end of the 2 weeks, my record was on every major station in the United States. So that's how the record industry operated, back then. And then, if you have favor with certain PDs or MDs, that's just the way the business worked. Just the way the business worked.
Wow.
It's
man.
That's all.
Yeah, what he's saying is that the money facilitates the relationship. You can either spend a lot of time and effort organically building up a relationship with somebody, or you can come in, introduce yourself, plunk down a whole bunch of cash, either and say, I'm buying, so much time on your station and, to run this commercial. And, either way, you get played. Which one is going to take less time?
The difference today, then the money stopped at the music director and program director. So
it's going straight into their pockets, not necessarily to sustain the radio station.
Right, absolutely.
That's more of a bribe.
That's how and then this is what I believe what happened in the industry, and what happened is that the station had to start getting some of that money, because the station had to be ran. And I always said this, that the general manager in the station used to see the PDs and the MDs drive up in Mercedes, and they're riding in Volkswagens. So that had to change. And so it stopped. The money stopped being spent in just that area. So now it's just more sophisticated. It's more sophisticated.
Can I say really quickly to piggyback on that? I have seen artists come in. I live near Charlotte, North Carolina. I have known management companies to spend huge amounts of money on trying to get an artist broken, and they would try to break an artist. And I remember a certain incident that an entertainment attorney told me about, where the management company rented out the Speedway, the NASCAR Speedway, had all of these program directors coming in to drive stock cars. And just, they treated them like super celebrities, and they out there with the NASCAR stars. They play and they spent hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars for this one new artist, and the radio station played him for 1 week, and we've never heard from him again since.
Wow.
I don't even remember his name.
That's sad.
And so it goes back to what I was saying. What doesn't work? If you are just doing tactics, you just have tactics with no strategy. I don't care if you got a lot of money. You got to know where to put that lot of money.
Absolutely.
You can spend it. You can spend it with the wrong person, and now they have the money and you don't.
Right.
With nothing to show for it. So.
And as I've always said, the music industry is about R&B, relationships, and budgets. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. Dr. Nichols, we want to talk real quick about what you're doing now, and you're making an impact over across seas in the UK area. So definitely talk to us about that.
Well, I would, really bless being affiliated with an artist named Edwin Starr. That was a Motown artist, and that's how I started in the record business with Edwin. And when I started with Edwin, I had the opportunity to travel, go overseas a lot. Because in Northern England, it's called Northern Soul. In Motown is the Bible. Still right now in Northern Soul, that's Motown Records. You hear Motown Records. And so from that relationship with Edwin and going over there a lot, I started meeting a lot of these DJs when they were, say, kids, because a lot of them now tell me they used to play, or the biggest DJs, they say they used to play my music, and so I developed that relationship. And then also I put on, I stayed in Seattle's, Greece, and I put on concerts, and from those concerts, I developed a relationship with a lot of the huge, we call them celebrity DJs, the EDM DJs.
Mm-hmm.
And so building from that, from those relationships, and that's how I got into the European market. But see, I've been cultivating that market for almost 15, 20 years. And I was over there, and I was over there more so because I got kind of frustrated with American radio. And over in the UK, which we got a very heavy presence, is based on the radio. It's not BDS, it's not media based. It's based on the relationship with the DJ, and they're honest about the music.
Wow.
They're honest about the music. And so with that, it goes right back to as Ron always talks about every week, is relationships. And so we built a relationship. We learned, and I said we, the folks I work with, we learned that market. We learned how to market over there. And when you're overseas, when you jump in your car and you drive under the river from England, when you come up on the other side, you're in Germany. So over there, everything is tightly connected, and you can move around a lot easier and a lot cheaper, and you build these relationships. But I think the most importantly, for me, is that they recognize great music, and they have a lot of respect for the artists, and they have a lot of respect for the legacy of the artists. And so building on those relationships got us into Europe, and then also from that is that, like, is some of the top DJs I managed like DJ Judge Jules, and Jules was the #1 DJ at the BBC for 14 years.
Yeah.
He was the #1 DJ in the world, and so those still relationship building, and also I've been able to set up distribution, learn how distribution works over there. Just like right now, I was real fortunate. I just had a record that like went to #10 on the UK charts, and then they're manufacturing those 2 songs in 45 vinyl. So I'm selling vinyl in Europe.
Wow.
45, you know, and so we're doing things in Japan, and also like in Japan, you still got, and Kenny knows this, what I'm getting ready to name Tower Records.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Tower Records is still going in Japan. And
Wow.
they're still selling CDs in Japan.
Wow.
In those markets, and they're still selling CDs in Germany. And so what happens is, like in London, I got a relationship with a very good distributor and people on the ground where they manufacture the CDs. I'm not shipping nothing from the United States. And once again, that's our relationship and learning that market and making them calls to the DJs, not just by, and this, I think Ron appreciate this, not just about the record. When I call them, when I learned at Atlantic Records, I got hired at Atlantic Records by a gentleman named Henry Allen. In that time, in the 70s or in the 60s, he was the highest ranking black executive in industry. And he said, you can talk about anything, but before you leave the station, you mention your record.
Wow.
But saying build that relationship up, and then before you leave, you talk about your product. So we built a strong relationship over there in overseas, and we're well respected through a network. It's not just me, but it's a network of folks that I work with, all across Germany and all across the Baltics and in Japan and in China, and so we just cultivate that relationship.
Wow, man! I pray I'll be able to get over there in the UK or so. Man, that would be lovely. So I mean,
knows about the UK.
Man,
my second home, man. It's my second home. Literally.
Man, wow. But hey, look, guys, we want to thank Dr. Marlon Mac Nichols for coming on the Music Industry Makeover. If you'd like to get in contact with him, see what he's doing, go to angeldoveglobalmedia.com. All right. Look at his accomplishments. As you can see in the background, there's just a few of them there. But hey, this is a legend in the game, 55 years in the music industry. All right. So he has something to say. And hey, pay attention. I hope y'all did. Kenny, any last words that you want to say? We want to thank you so much for coming on. He is the owner, the program director for AEG Radio Network that yours truly is on as well too. Grown Folk Gospel. Oh yes,
definitely, man. He's doing a phenomenal job too, brother. To tell you,
thank you.
And I love what you guys were saying about the radio side of it, people, because we get people drop us stuff that it doesn't fit our format. I was glad when D-Ray was talking about that, because I'm like, look. We don't. You ain't listening because you just people just be sending stuff, and then they get mad at you when they don't hear it. I'm like, we don't have a format for you for your music, So you're
not called the spray and pray strategy.
I like that, Simone.
But like, hey, we can't just play anything, So I get it, But again, I'm just glad to be on with my beloved brother. My mentor, this cat, like I said, he was the foundation of where I started in music, period. And because of who I am today is because of that man sitting right there. So my hat's always off to Marlon Mac Nichols. That's my dude. That's my goal, for real. Because that cat, for me, as far as I'm concerned, he is the greatest of all time. Because he taught me the business. You know, it wasn't about me being an artist. He taught me the business first, and then I became an artist. You know, and he did some fantastic stuff with me. So, thank you. If I
Awesome.
ever get a chance to say it again, man, thank you, brother, for real. So him
Amen.
and Joyce, man, they were, you know what? They were really good coaches, for real. They were really good coaches, and they were somebody you really wanted to be a part of. You know, because it wasn't just music, y'all. It's about a relationship. I've been hearing that word all night, relationship. We had a
Yeah.
relationship. You know what I'm saying? It was family. So, you know, and families, y'all know what families do. Well,
Mm-hmm.
most families. I can't say all families because some families you stay away from.
Yeah.
You won't even call it. But you know, I love this brother for real, and my hat's always off to him for real. And as far as
Awesome.
I'm concerned, even to this day, he's still my mentor. You know, I'm still listening. I'm still watching him. So every time I see him get a win over in the UK or somewhere over there, I'm like, my man is doing it. You heard? So
Awesome, man. Awesome. Dr. Mac Nichols, any last words?
You know, I hope it's an honor to be on your show, and
Thank you, sir.
I hope I did justice.
Oh, yes.
With this opportunity, and I, you know, I'm keep on watching you. I'm always watching you.
Thank you.
And so once again, it was a pleasure, and I hope I answered the questions thoroughly enough for you. And if you have any more, just call me, and we can talk into it.
Thank you for the relationship. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Simone.
Well, I guess my last thing is just to make sure that you're paying attention to what we've been saying here, taking it all in, relationships and budgets. You know, that's a very powerful statement. It
that's a
takes,
T-shirt, man. Somebody,
yeah, isn't it though?
Hey, I'm just going to do it real quick.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes hard work. Like Dr. McNichols said, you know, it took him 15 years. He's been cultivating these relationships.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not a spray and pray thing. It's not an instantaneous thing, you know. It takes hard work, and it takes you stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, what I do is I help artists to brand themselves and build their fan bases so that they can monetize their music ministries. Building up your fan base takes knowing how to build relationships with people. So if there's anything I can do to help you in that vein, let me know, inbox me, or go to my website, eshemusic.com.
Yes, definitely. Go ahead, D. Ray.
I thoroughly
Yeah.
y'all might be speaking something to an existence.
It's there.
I thoroughly enjoyed this time, Dr. McNichols. I certainly appreciate your expertise, your wisdom, and your knowledge. And I just want to thank you for being an example to us in the industry who are, like I said, we're trying to get where you've been. A lot of us are still trying to get there. Yeah. And so I just pray your health and that you keep being a light for us. And I probably shouldn't admit this publicly, but you know, I'm reaching out on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm following you, reaching out, friend requests. You got a book, I'm gonna buy it. Whatever it is, sir. I want to know it all. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. First, I want to say definitely thank Apostle Kenny here, because if it was for him, I would not have known who Dr. Nichols is. And so, again, it's about that relationship. You know, I thank God for the relationship with Kenny, and now with Dr. Nichols. It's just like, man, you know, it's all about how you carry yourself and treat people right. You know, today I definitely had an epiphany moment to where it's like, all right, I have to realize I have to go back MIM who we really are. All right, how we started a media company. Okay, instead of trying doing all this other stuff, you know what? Let's get back to the basics and know, again, relationships and budgets. Go ahead on and just and make that what it is. And thank you, Simone, for your words of wisdom as well too. And so, Dr. Nichols, again, I truly thank you. You always welcome back on here. It's an honor to have you on, and thank you so much for even watching. Because, like I said, I never knew that you was even watching us. So, and we've been on for like a year and a half now or so. And it's like, man, so that's more motivation for us to keep going on too.
I can confirm that because he said, you know, Kenny, I watch him. I listen to him all the time.
Wow.
Yo, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
You just never know who's listening to you. You know?
That's so true. You never know.
So again, guys, hey, I hope you all paid attention. Definitely, okay. Yes, yes, it is relationships and budgets.
Yes,
okay?
it is. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you better help get that T-shirt because I'm gonna be rocking it.
I know, right?
Teacher, hey Vince, you heard that? So let's go ahead on and get that. Hey, shoot, I'm gonna go ahead on and get it done next week. So go visit his website. All right, okay, angeldoveglobalmedia.com. All right, go to the website as well as aegradio.com. Go check out all the great music that's on there, all the great shows that are on there as well.
Yes.
Hey, again, to God be the glory. Remember, all things unfortunately must come to an end, but God's love never ends. Remember, you matter in the kingdom of God, so don't compare yourself or your ministry to anyone else. Just do what God has called you to do, and you'll be just fine. All right? Hey, stay safe. We'll see you again. Don't get in the box tomorrow. God bless. Peace. Yep.
Just give me the music, give me the music. Hey, just give me the music, give me the music. The music.